So I just finished the Traitors US season 4 episode 8 and wow, we just had back-to-back traitors and back-to-back housewives leave the game. It has been a rough time for the Bravo Alliance. So Rob really showed some great strategic sense here by not telling Candiace that Colton said her name previously. That decision ended up being clutch because Rob allowed Candice to murder Colton off, and and obviously like if Rob mentioned Colton dropping her name, I feel like Candice would definitely be second guessing, and I feel like she would eventually not murder him because obviously like there would be direct lines back to her. But I also love how perceptive and analytical Candice is um, when she found out that Colton said her name. She immediately tried to fish the information from Rob, whether Rob knew in the previous episode that Colton had already done that, because it would be a way for her to know that Rob was actually plotting and planning her demise all along when he allowed Candice to murder Colton. The round table looked like a full-on traitor on traitor, but in the end, Candiace lost the battle. But I was still glad that she left gracefully, similar to Lisa, because I also thought, especially with how she was feeling already from the turret and the beginning of the episode, and how she was speaking at the confessional, saying that she would not leave without like going crazy at Rob. I thought she would actually like say something um, at at her departure, but I'm glad like she sucked it up and like left gracefully. But it's crazy that all her effort kind of went to waste because like after the round table, like everyone was basically saying that they 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 actually don't think Rob is a traitor and actually feel that it's that he's no way that he can be a traitor. So it's very funny that Candice did all that attempt to expose him and it ended up being like a cover for him. Rob was so quick in working, like he immediately started dropping Johnny right after the round table. And honestly, I initially thought he started doing that because he knew the ultimatum was coming, so his plan was to pick Johnny as his murder bait for the next episode. But he ended up choosing Eric instead. And I guess it sort of made sense after the fact. Because if he had picked Johnny, and the next morning, Johnny finds out that Rob had dropped his name in today's episode. Then Johnny would basically like start stirring trouble around against Rob basically, and that would put so much suspicion into Rob because that would be the third episode or the third day for them pretty much where Rob is like getting thrown around and like to for Candice to like put point at him 2 days in a row and then Johnny pointing to him as well. It would definitely be suspicious to the faithful. So I guess Eric is really a good pick in that sense, and I feel like Eric is such a nice guy, so I feel like he would have a hard time betraying Rob. So we'll see how that goes. I hope at least that Rob picking Eric also means that Rob might not like backstab Eric as well. Um, like like Rob really gone for the housewives, but I feel like he had his own reasons. And I feel like if Rob had proper traitors with him, it did feel like he was willing to really work together. Because even with Candice, it seemed like if Candice didn't like do the throwaway vote on Rob, it seemed like Rob would have worked with her. So I hope to see Rob actually working with Eric, so we'll see. So in the end, um, I mean, they cut to the part where Eric didn't even say if he's gonna be a traitor or not. But I mean, there is no reason for Eric to choose to be murdered. Like in general, I feel like ultimatums are kind of dumb in that sense because like, why would a player let himself get murdered? Like, like unless you really hated the game and are just ready to leave, you would just switch to become a traitor. There's only one ever faithful in the history of at least the English speaking traitors where a faithful chose to get murdered. So in general, like the percentage of an ultimatum being any use other than a faithful switching to a traitor makes no sense. Like in the end, they should just basically force a faithful to be a traitor without having to have to decide if they would choose to be murdered. So my murder prediction for next week is Maura. So Maura is very presumed faithful, and she hasn't really had heat on her. Like the only time I think she got a vote was when Dorinda voted last week, and even Dorinda said that was just a throwaway vote. So no one really thinks of Maura, and everyone kind of feels she's faithful. So I also think Kristen is also in that same label. Like she's also like assumed to be faithful, but she has the shield, so she can't be murdered. So that's why I think Maura is a good pick for a throwaway murder. I feel like the other faithfuls have either like some suspicion on them or like they have something about them that can be brought up during the round table to bring up some heat on them. So that's why. But for Mora, like I don't think anyone has anything on her, so that's why I think she's the best candidate to be murdered. So who do you think will be murdered next week? Let me know and also tell me why. And I'll see you on the next episode.